Hi there. In this tutorial, we want to discuss the ways that you can utilize the multi-user management feature to allow for additional users in your account to have particular access to the account, all controlled by you, the account owner. And so this is really going to enhance your team's collaboration for your email marketing materials. And now before we take a deep look into the feature, we can take a quick look at an example account owner and the different users she may want to allow access to the account. So here you can see we have Kate, our account owner, and the different users that she works with to create and launch her marketing materials. So for example, a copywriter, designer, accountant, blog editor, client, there's lots of examples here. We can imagine that each of these people, as well as Kate, could benefit from having access into the GetResponse account to access and participate in particular aspects of the account itself. The copywriter could use access to the messages for the text creation, from which point we'd want the designer to create the design, allow an account manager or a marketing manager to verify the send, and then the client would want to have a look probably at the email statistics. And our accountant would need access to the billing details to be able to export invoices. Now that we kind of have a general idea of maybe a workflow that a team could go through, let's actually dive into the feature itself and have a look. And so to do this, we're going to actually want to make sure that throughout the video and after the tutorial, you really all feel comfortable accessing, of course, the multi-user feature, creating these different roles, and creating and managing users. So let's go ahead and have a look. So we're going to go to this My Account menu in the top right, drop it down, and choose Multi-User Settings. And this is where we're going to be able to create and manage our different roles and users. And so as you can see, we already have some roles created in this account. But let's move forward and create a new one so we can actually see how we can create these new roles. So of course, we're just going to click Create New Role. And this is what you're going to do first. You always create a role, and then you can move forward with creating different users for the role. So we've clicked Create Role, so we're going to name it and give a kind of, descriptor for the role. Like I've mentioned a few examples: marketing manager, designer, copywriter, client A, or, some examples here. And there's also, as you can see, some default roles that are going to be, by default included in your account, like design or, marketing manager. Oh, excuse me, those are modified. So default roles that you see here. User roles are things we created. Default are what is here. So account manager, accountant, administrator, things like that. So let's say for this example, we're creating the role for our art director. So I'll give it a name. And then we're going to dictate which aspects of the account and to what capacity this role will have access. And we can kind of imagine what areas of the account would be important for such a position like an art director, and which ones would not. So the user that you assign to the role of art director, these are the different accesses to the account that they're going to have. So you see that we could actually block this user from particular areas of the account. We could give them a view only privilege to particular areas of the account, or both the view and edit privilege. And so for art director, for sure, we would be giving them view and edit access to my newsletters. So you can see that's how that is set up here by default. And by default, you can see these things are already selected, so you just be moving them around. So we want them to have full access to my newsletters and autoresponders, for example. But then we actually want to block them from, some of the account level accesses. Like, let's go down a bit here. They don't actually need access to any of this. As the account manager or art director, they don't need any access to that, so we can block them for that. But maybe give them a view only option to see the different campaigns that they've got available. So this is just a way for you to click through and really think about, for the particular role you're creating, what accesses and to what capacity you want them to have access to. And so let's have a quick real-life look in the account of what something would look like if a particular user, this account director role, what they would be seeing in the account based on some of the accesses. So for example, for messages, for the send option, I want to actually block them from being able to actually send messages. They can do all these other things, but particularly I don't want them to be able to, on their own, this art director, send a message. And so I'm going to show you what that would look like. So I've got this saved, and I'll show you a quick example. So I've logged into the account as the art director, which I'll show you how to do that in just a little bit. So you can see my account. You can see Abby, that's me. So I am in that part of the account as this user. So I'm going to go to Messages, Create Newsletter, and I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because this is not about the newsletter, but to show you this access. New email creator. So I'll do Sending Block Test. Check this out. We'll go to the next step and choose a template, or the art director maybe would be designing our own. So we've got some pre-designed templates here. Let's see, I'll choose this one just for an example. So we would be doing our editing. We would be creating this message as we normally would, this art director, or, having a look at what it's looking like. Go to next step. Choosing your subscribers. The campaign, any exclusions. Again, next step. And send for approval. So normally, if you're familiar with this process, you could see the option to schedule or send now. And so again, because this sending feature is blocked for this particular role, there's not the option to actually send the message. So they would simply click send for approval. Give it to the proper email address. So whoever is your, marketing manager, whoever needs to give the proper go-ahead. And then they would receive a notification to come out and check the message and continue the sending process. This is a great way for people to be able to really, tackle their own tasks for your email marketing campaigns, but also be able to make sure that no one is sending out a message that perhaps shouldn't be. So we'll go back into the feature itself now again and keep looking around. So remember, we left off last with kind of finishing off the creation of this role of the art director and the different accesses that they have. So let's say that we're good, that we've had a look, and this is all of the proper accesses that we think this person should have. Go ahead and click Save. And you can see right here is the art director role that we have just created. So let's actually move on to actually create and assign a new user to this role. And it's easily enough. We'll, of course, go to Manage Users. And you can see, again, we already have some users that are, here in the account, but we can be able to add some more. So I'll add the email address for this user that I want to add to this role. Filling out their details, of course. And I want to scroll down, and you can also choose, assign them to more than one role. So someone can have many different roles, which would then, of course, dictate the many different, combinations of accesses they have. So you can keep it simple, just, one user, one role. Or, of course, a particular user could have many different roles for your account. So I'll choose the art director, and I'm going to add this account. And so you can see that they have been successfully added. But then we're going to, of course, I'm going to switch point of view for a moment and pretend to be the person, who I guess I am, going to be actually activating this account. And so here is the confirmation email that the user that you have just added will receive automatically once you finished adding them, as we just did. So they simply need to activate it. So they'll click this link to set up a password and activate. So automatically they're brought here, so they should create a new password. Let's do that really quickly. And then they'll be able to log in using their email address that is associated with their user account, their new password they just used. Oh, whoops, sorry. brain habit there for an email address. There we go. There we go. And so this is quickly that way I showed you just a little bit ago about sending the message that was blocked. So this is what it looks like, just like GetResponse. But if you hover over my account, you'll see that this is Abigail, the art director role. And so it's as easy as that for them to be able to, log into the account and, complete the tasks and, access the portions of the account that they can and, manage all of that themselves. Super easy for them to be able to get it set up. And so I'll go back now again into the owner settings so we can keep looking around. So I'm back in this Manage Users page, and all of this is pretty straightforward, and you'll be able to see if you hover your mouse over different areas of this page that lots of extra information comes on, extra menus. So from this page and for the different users you've added, With this actions menu, you can, of course, edit the details for them. So like the phone number and email address that you provided or their name. Reset a password. View their activity in the account. Log in as them so you can kind of test out and see what it would look like for this particular user. Enable some type of moderation for their activity. Simply remove this account or assign different rights to them as well. So this is just a way to really be able to fully customize each user's experience and access. Easily toggle their status on and off. So of course, if they're turned off, they will not have access into this account. You can change or add an additional role to this particular user. And custom rights. You can base custom rights based on the level of access or activities you'd like them to complete and the date that they were added. You also see that there's, a 7 out of 8 in use based on your particular plan. You may have, a particular number of sub-accounts or user accounts available. And so if you've reached your maximum, of course, you could just go ahead and, maybe upgrade to be able to have more users or simply delete one of your users and add another in its place. So it's quite straightforward to be able to really manage all of your different users via the different options that you have on this page, and additionally manage the different roles. Similar action menu to edit a role if you would like to, or be able to delete a role that you've already created. And so this is this very easy way for you to really feel comfortable, hopefully really make your team workflow and collaboration easy and effective with this multi-user management feature.